door. It's not as bad as this. Therefore, I'm good. And it's seeing who God is. Moving along, I've got a couple of emails from Steve. Steve comes from North Wales is best, by the way.
Good man.
So what?
Doesn't rhyme though.
No, he doesn't rhyme, but he said it. Okay, adds lots of laughs at the end. Mind you, anyway. No, actually, it's laugh out loud, isn't it? LOL. You know, I could never understand why people put LOL after it, and I had to ask my son what it was.
Did you think they were sending you lots of love?
Yeah, lots of love, and it would be at times when it would be so inappropriate to say it means laugh out loud.
Apparently.
Okay. First of all, a comment, and I'll get on to the main point. But 70% of people in UK doubt the birth of Jesus. Well, at last count, 75% think the Da Vinci Code is true, which leads to the conclusion that people will believe what they want to believe, which is really what we've just been saying there. It's amazing when you go to a party to talk about shamans, witches, tarot cards, poltergeists. Everyone is interested. It's true, isn't it? The moment you start talking about Jesus, you're a nutter. And I think that it is very interesting. But the one I want to bring, because from Steve, and because the next question I was going to go on to, I think we need a comparison of what people believe and what they say with Jesus. And of course 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 4 has this interesting phrase where Paul, writing back to the Corinthians, said if one comes and preaches another Jesus, well at this point it goes on about another gospel, but another Jesus, in other words there was more than one Jesus. And maybe this just gives a flavour of it, because Steve says it's worth mentioning that, for instance, Mormons teach that Jesus is Satan's brother, and the Osmonds, I didn't know, actually wrote a song that says that God was once like us, which is actually Mormon. And of course Jehovah's Witnesses will teach that Jesus is Michael the Archangel. And so again we have to look, are these things true? And then you have what he calls the money pastors, who preach Jesus as money-making machine. And then, but I feel worse in so is that Jesus was the musical Jesus Christ Superstar, and so on and so forth. And so you can look at different belief systems, and they would present a different Jesus to the one that we would say. And you can look at the world and you get Jesus Christ the superstar. You get the one that will, almost as I put it, as an eternal Father Christmas, whatever you ask, he'll give you. So you get all these different Jesuses. How do we know, I mean, which one is right? And also, what is the warning for us today in this, that if you take, put all these Jesuses down side by side on a piece of paper, you can't be talking about the same person.
No, you can't. The problem is, if you accept the wrong Jesus into your life, you can go to Brazil and throw a stick on a beach there and hit half a dozen people called Jesus or Jesus, If you accept the wrong Jesus and accept whatever gift that Jesus is bringing, have you got salvation? This is what we're talking about at the end of the day. We're talking about getting yourself from the state that you're in, ourselves, from the state that we're in, into a state of salvation where we gain entry into heaven, we gain entry into paradise and live with God forever. Now he's provided that as a gift, and it only comes via the real Jesus. And now if you accept some other Jesus, what are you accepting? Because you haven't got salvation now. That's how important it is. It has eternal ramifications. Which Jesus are you accepting? You see, Paul wasn't a great orator, apparently. He wasn't a great speaker. He was a bit like Moses. Moses objected to go in because he didn't speak very well, and God said, well, I'll send somebody with you to do that. Don't worry about that, but you go. Paul wasn't a great orator. So what was happening is around him, there were others who were much better speakers, much better orators, more convincing sounding, and they became the super apostles of the day. Does that sound familiar to anybody listening? They were so convincing because they were great speakers. Paul wasn't a great speaker, but he was a learned man, and he knew God, and he knew the Bible that he had, the Old Testament that we call it now. He knew what the word said, and he was able to write to people to correct them. Again, we're coming back to the reading. How do we know the real Jesus? Well, God did something quite remarkable. God revealed himself in two different ways. First of all, he revealed himself in the general nature of things, if you like. Even our own natures, we were made in the image of God, and some of that is still in mankind there somewhere. So there's a nagging doubt in most people, even if they don't believe in God, there's still a nagging doubt there in most people that there must be. It's the only thing that makes sense, actually, at the end of the day. But the second way he decided to reveal himself, because the general revelation of God through nature and looking around and seeing what's going on wasn't good enough for salvation. He revealed himself in a very specific fashion, and he revealed himself through the Word of God. He said, I'm going to reveal myself and tell you a bit about myself. And he had people write about him he in the Old Testament and the New Testament, and we have got the revealed will of God in this book that we call the Bible. 66 books bound together as one. He revealed himself very specifically there. Now this is where we get our understanding of the real Jesus.
That comes to my mind. We're talking about Jesus, the real Jesus, opening up into a spiritual life and into a spiritual dimension, i.e. I can be saved, my sins can be forgiven. That's what we were talking about just now. If it's a different Jesus, is it potentially possible to open up into a wrong and to a different spiritual realm?
Absolutely.
Therefore, we have the feelings, we have spiritual understanding, but it's not the right one, and we've missed out. Is it possible to, therefore, not only to have a problem in this life, but have a problem in future life as well, because of what we opened
Absolutely.
up into?
Listen, if I'm out with you, Doug, and we're in the countryside, we're in West Wales where it's best, and we decide we're going to go for a walk in the wilds, okay? Perhaps we'll just go up to Mid Wales, because it's wilder there, okay? Now, you have packed away all the right clothes, and you've packed away a compass, and you've got a map, and it's all in your backpack, and I go up there and I say, don't worry, Doug, I think I know my way around, it's fine. And we get in the middle of the Black Mountains there, and we're lost. Now, Doug, you get your map out, and you say, I think we're here, and you get the compass, and that's north, right, it's this way. And I say to you, Doug, I feel very strongly that it's this way.
Right.
Now, the third person perhaps with us will have to make a decision. Who's he going to go with? Who's he going to follow? Is he going to follow me, the dopey one that says, I think it's this way. We've got a really strong, good feeling that it's this way. I reckon it's a pub or something this way. We get some food and everything. I've got no evidence, mind, but come on, come with me. I have a very strong feeling about it, and I could be a better orator than you, and I could even convince that person to come with me. But really, who's got the best knowledge of the area? The guy with the feeling, or the guy with the map and the compass? And that's the analogy we're talking about here. You can have feelings about all sorts of different things, and a lot of your feelings are just going to lead you up the garden path. They're going to lead you the wrong way. What you need is knowledge, you need wisdom, you need understanding to recognize the real Jesus when he comes knocking at the door. A false Jesus, the word, the Bible tells us that the enemy of God, whose name is Lucifer, we call him Satan or the devil, this enemy will come as an angel of light. In other words, he'll look like he's leading you the right way, much like me in the Black Mountains. I can convince you that I know what I'm doing on the back of my feelings. But I'm going to be wrong, aren't I? I'm going the wrong way. And the devil will come as an angel of light, and he can convince you that he is even the right Jesus. How do we know the difference then? God has revealed himself. God has revealed who the real Jesus is. He's told you about the personality. He's told you about the way he operates in the book we call the Bible. You go to that. If somebody comes to you and says, this is the real Jesus, follow him, you go to this book. And if that Jesus that's being presented to you doesn't match up to the Jesus in the book, then he's not the real Jesus.